Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to today's live session. I'm very excited for the amazing conversation that we are going to have today. I know we had quite a bit of a pause in the last few days, but we are going to go right back in because today we're going to talk about something very crucial, something that a lot of us often hate. We don't want that in our lives, but the unfortunate truth is it's a constant companion that never leaves our side. And the thing I'm talking about is uncertainty. It's the change of plans that happens when we don't know what to do. It's that sudden shift, that sudden unexpected change that knocks you off your ground. And you're left over there wondering, what do I do now? How do I move on from this? How do I deal with a life that I'd never even planned for? How do I deal when life turns into such a direction that every single thing I once imagined would come my way now just doesn't seem to be the truth? In those moments, it can feel like a very isolating, a very depressing, a very heavy experience. And I'm sure you've been there at least at one point in your life where the plan just fell apart, where you were like, okay, what do I do now? Where do I go? Where do I lead? That feeling of being lost, not just on a temporary level, but on a deeper, more permanent level, is something that can't be put into words, but it's something we all have felt. And the way to move through that, the way to deal with that is, ironically, as cringe as it may sound, as difficult as it may sound, it is to hold faith that in the end you will prevail. And for that, I want to share a story with you today. I want to tell you the story of a young girl, a daughter of Indian immigrants who was growing up in the United States and who had fallen in love with music. And she knew, she believed, she felt it at her core that playing the violin, that was her destiny. Becoming a great musician is exactly what she wanted to do. And for many, many years, she consistently practiced. She diligently practiced. She became the person who was always super focused. And from the time she ended school to the time she went back in the evenings, in the mornings, violin became her life. And every single day, she loved playing the instrument. So much so that there had become a bit of a shift between how her left and her right shoulders were positioned because the violin would rest only on one shoulder, right? I'm sure you must have seen videos of people playing violin. So that's how much passion she had for the instrument. And she was so audacious, she was so brave that she actually got into and she got admission and she got cleared into the most amazing, the most prestigious music program in the United States, which is at the Juilliard School of Music in New York City. It was a dream come true for her. And she was only a 16-year-old girl at that time. So, all those years of hard work in her childhood, all that effort, all that push, all that strength that she had built, that proficiency and skill was finally starting to pay off because through hook or crook, by just showing up with her work, she'd gotten into a place she thought was impossible, which was Juilliard School of Music. And then something happened when she was practicing. One day, in a very unaware way, she didn't even notice it. To try to hit that high note, she extended the last pinky finger of her hand on the strings a bit too much. And because she extended it a bit too much, she heard and she felt a snap. And out of pain, she dropped the violin because she couldn't hold it anymore. She knew she had injured her finger. Now she was devastated. Her plans were completely broken. She knew that she wanted to be a violinist. She knew she wanted to become a musician. Everything was charted out for her. Life was going to take on those plans. And now comes this injury. And I'm sure you all are wondering that, okay, fine, it was just an injury, right? She probably would have recovered in some time. But here's the thing, that injury was a career ending injury because it immobilized some muscles in her finger in such a way that she would not be able to play the violin ever again. If she tried, she permanently risked breaking that finger and losing motor function over there, because some of the parts that had been damaged were so delicate and so important. Imagine this: you're on the way to the best career of your life, all the opportunities are aligned, and one tiny moment, one silly mistake, one extra effort to just try to hit that note, and that ends up becoming the thing that shatters your entire career, that shatters life as you knew it, that shatters the whole perspective of who you thought you were going to be. And imagine going through that at the age of 16, where you like, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. Well, a lot of us can assume from that point on, this is somebody who would have gone on to have a average kind of life, feeling very dejected, demotivated, because she lost the opportunity of a lifetime that she wanted to build with her career in music. But no, that's not how the story ends. Because here's the thing: when life changes plans, when life hits you with uncertainty, having this faith that, yes, I'm going to prevail in the end, having this faith that I know this moment feels hard right now, I know I want to cry in this moment, I know this is not the life I expected, but knowing that something better, something greater is always out there for you, well, this is the faith that this girl had. And the person I'm talking about today is Dr. Maya Shankar, who today is one of the leading neuroscientists, psychologists, and people who are leading incredible research on the edge of exploring the new frontiers of human behavior. She couldn't become a violinist, but her work has helped people change lives. Her work has helped people deal with uncertainty, with change, with challenges, with so many more things. Her work has saved people's lives. She couldn't become a violinist, but under President Obama's administration, she became the first White House representative for neuroscience, for mental health, and for other initiatives, where she worked in the White House alongside the president to make sure that the American public and the American welfare system is prioritizing the things that matter most for people's well being. All these opportunities, all the success. She hosts an amazing podcast that's called A Slight Change of Plans. One of my all time favorite podcasts, by the way. If you want, you can go check that out sometime. I highly recommend it. She has written a book called The Other Side of Change. And the talk I'm having today with you, the conversation I'm having today, comes inspired from a lot of her ideas, because she's taught us what it means to deal with uncertainty, how to handle the moments when life hits you the hardest, and how to bounce back from that by finding deeper meaning, by finding something to refocus on, by finding that spark again. And that's the message I want to leave you with today, because I want you to know nothing is ever lost. If she had become a violinist, she never ever would have become a pioneer who would have saved so many lives, would have brought the conversation of mental health, of well being, not just in general circles, but straight to the place where it matters the most, which is the White House, which is the governing body. She never would have been able to write a New York Times best-selling book. She never would have been able to have a podcast with some of the most amazing people in the world. She never would have become a researcher who's actively transforming people's lives. So, if you're going through a hardship, if you're going through a phase where you feel life's just stealing away the blessings from you, here's a question I'd like you to ponder upon today. Here's a question I'd like you to reflect upon. Think of how many more blessings are there to come your way which you aren't even aware of. How many more amazing people are you going to meet just because your plans are changing now? How much better is life going to get just because you are now going through a period of change? See, uncertainty is not a bad, is not an enemy. Uncertainty is not the challenge. The challenge is the perception we give to uncertainty. The challenge is that we assume it's bad. The challenge is that we think it's never going to help us. But here's the thing: uncertainty can be your best friend. Uncertainty and the slight changes of plans can be the way you create the best life ever. Because, see, here's what I found: the universe knows better than you do. honestly. The more the you trust the universe, the more you allow those plans to unfold rather than being rigid about what you've lost, the more you find out everything. Even these moments of being low, even these moments where everything feels lost, even these moments when no answer seems to come your way, you will know these are for my betterment. These are for my strength. And when you have that faith, when you have that strength, you have no option but to prevail. You have no choice but to succeed. You have no option but to keep growing and to keep moving on. And that's the sign of people who make it big. It's not that they have it all figured out. They're able to navigate through the ups and downs with courage, with compassion, with strength, with knowledge, with understanding that magic is unfolding in every single step, even if they cannot see that magic yet. So I ask you to do this reflection tonight. Anything that's not working in your life, anything that you can see is going against you, is going against the plans you had, is shattering every notion of success that you think was going to come your way, what's the blessing in that moment? Because that finger fracture, that finger injury was not a blessing for Maya in that moment, but in the entire duration of her life, it became the biggest turning point. It became the biggest pivot. It became the start of a whole new journey. You can make your lowest point the same thing, which is why I like this metaphor. There's no rock bottom in life. You heard that right. There is no rock bottom in life. There's only a trampoline at the bottom. And the only thing you can do from there is bounce back. In the moment, it doesn't seem like you can. Why? Because the surface of the trampoline is here. You're going even deeper. You're going even lower. And you're thinking, what's wrong with my life? I couldn't think there was a lower low than the lowest low, and I'm already at the lower low than the lowest low. How much lower am I going to go? But don't worry, have that faith, keep holding on. Because even though the plans are changing, even though life is not working out in your favor, that's just you creating the energy to bounce back from that base of the trampoline and jump into the life that's meant for you. Things can change and things will change, and things always do change way faster than you can imagine. All that it requires is a little bit of patience on your end, a little bit of faith, and a little bit of more courage that, yes, I know, even if right now I can't see it, the blessing is always there. And that, my friends, is how you deal with uncertainty in life. You don't fight it, you don't push away from it, you don't think, I don't know how it will happen, when it will happen. No, you just embrace it, and you allow the change of plans to take over. You allow life to take you in a better direction, and you control the flow by controlling your perceptions and by believing that, yes, everything in every moment is always working out in my favor. I hope this message helps. I hope the story helps to show you that whatever happens, life's always going to work out. Life's always going to be the best life because that's what's planned for you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'll see you once again tomorrow live at the same time, which is 8:30 p.m. IST. Bye. See you soon.